All right. Hey, everyone. I hope you guys are all having a fantastic day out there today. Loki's very excited for a doggy treat that he's been getting the last few days. Something about jerky is his favorite food, specifically dog-friendly jerky or whatever. Maybe it has extra seasoning or something like that. But a lot of stuff's talking to you guys about here today. Kind of a weird day overall. The Greenland stuff is dying out a little bit. We saw Trump actually sue Jamie Dimon and Chase Bank, which is kind of an interesting thing there, or JP Morgan, if you will. The market is pretty much not doing anything, trying to soak everything up. But I think it gives us an opportunity to just chill for a little bit, talk about some of the random news going on, and maybe not some of the massive headlines that have been going on for the past few days, right? So, welcome everybody. Hope you guys have all had a good day. Most of you guys will be getting these notifications a little bit late, and that's primarily because I've already been putting out a bunch of content today, and that means I have no notifications available by the time the stream comes around. But I'm hoping by doing it at 5 o'clock every day, Monday through Friday, I'm hoping that it becomes more of a routine and the algorithm kind of learns from it. We'll see, but it'll be a process. Now, what I'm about to do is make myself go full ahead here so you guys can see a little bit more of my background. Oh, I forgot it's actually cropped here a little bit. You guys can see Loki coming up to get his treat, except for he's supposed to be good for a second. Can you sit down? There you go. See, he knows. He just gets excited. All right, come here. What if I just give you partial? Yeah. All right. So let's first just break down what happened with Bitcoin today. I still have a little bit of a cough, and I don't know why I still have a little bit of a cough. But before this stream started, I did make myself a fresh pot of tea. This is the second steeping here, but it's still a little bit steaming hot, which is good. So I'm going to pour a little bit into this cup, just a tad, so it actually cools down quite fast because it's boiling water. And then I'll let that sit, and we can get started with Bitcoin stuff. So right now, we're actually looking at something pretty interesting happening. Bitcoin is right below the 50-week moving average, or excuse me, the 50-day moving average. And I think there's an opportunity there for us to actually break out above that and have a nice little pop. Maybe back up around like $92,000. Nothing crazy, but an opportunity there. Most of you guys aren't going to be taking it too much just because of all the momentum on the weekly charts and the daily charts being bearish right now. But if you guys are looking for some day trades, check out that 4-hour chart. We are bullish on everything there, and that might give us an excuse to really get back above this current level of resistance around 90,500, which is around $100,000, which is basically $1,000 above where we are right now. And then from there, we have a nice little pop, and that brings us right back down here to 92,000, or really just where that 50 moving average might come back down to over the next few hours. So there's an opportunity there. If you guys want to take this trade, which I would say overall is pretty high risk, you can have a stop loss right around there, around what, like 88,500, and then you're just going to wait to see if it climbs overnight, really going into tomorrow morning around 6 o'clock, 6:30 when the market opens up, Pacific time. And then from there, you ride the wave up and you sell. There's no real, oh, I want to have a support level right down here. I want to have a stop loss right down there. I don't think it's really going to be that good. And hey, Lisa, happy to see you. Hope you're doing well. I forgot that by putting out so much content, nobody really gets notifications of the stream in the same way, I suppose. So we're going to have to wait for people to kind of join in here. But overall, still a good day. But that's currently the play for right now if you guys are looking to have a trade. If you guys are seeing that Bitcoin has an opportunity to have this small breakout, which is again a high risk trade, you can go over here to Ethereum. Still a little choppy, a little bit more choppy on the 4-hour chart than you are seeing with Bitcoin, but there's an opportunity if you guys want to do this one. You guys still have the ability to have a stop loss kind of around $2,900. Solana, a little bit different, but right up against that moving average. Support, stop loss, a little bit out of reach maybe, depending on how you want to play it. Not crazy, but just more than Bitcoin, I would say. The stop loss is around 1.5%, so with the 10x leverage play, it's a little bit up there, but not terrible. And then from here, instead of hoping for some type of larger move like back over here to 137, it's realistic to just try to sell this around 132 for about $4.50 profit. It'll make do. It'll make do. Specifically because this is kind of a rougher time. Theoretically, what you're really hoping for here when it comes to Bitcoin, a lot of these other tokens is Bitcoin's weekly charts are pretty much bearish again. We see the RSI is bearish, the stochastic is bullish, and the MACD is bearish, along with the bearish change of character. Go over here to the dailies. Look at that. Everything's bearish here. So really, we're just waiting for the 4-hour chart to turn bearish again. And when that happens, you're pretty happy with the result that'll probably force us back down. You know, I think we were hoping to have a little bit of a better day today, but if you guys saw the news today, the PCE came out and it just wasn't too much of a shocker. There was no big surprise or anything like that. And hey, Will to the Fee. I always mess up your name, so sorry about that. But what do you call it? Appreciate you being here. Happy to see my man. Inflation's pretty much stuck. There's nothing happening right now. The more I look at the news and some of the economic calendars that can come out, you know, wait, where's the economic calendar? Market Watch is the website. There you go. We have PCE today. Tomorrow we have consumer sentiments and PMI and stuff like that. Nothing crazy. Next week, FOMC decision. We're not going to have a cut. That might make us go down a little bit more. And then what? Double good orders, consumer confidence, jobless claims, core PPI, maybe a little bit of PPI next Friday. You know, there's not really much that's going to get us all hyped up. We already know what the decision of the Fed is going to be. There's going to be a pause, which probably not good, but it's going to be a pause. And then on top of that, we see over here on Friday, PPI. If it's a surprise, it'll be something, but you can see today there was no real surprise. There was maybe a little bit of volatility, but not really much happened here. So for Bitcoin, oh man, I keep pushing all those little buttons right there. There we go. For Bitcoin, the overall trend is still pushing us down, which kind of sucks. But in the meantime, we may have an opportunity for a short-term pop, which would basically lead to something more of a lower high, and then we keep on going down and really coming down by the end of next week. I think we have a few days of opportunity, but this is a 4-hour chart, so you know, give it some time. Next Wednesday, Thursday is way over here, so definitely got plenty of time there. All right, there we go. Let me poke this out a little bit because I was actually curious to see what was actually happening with altcoins today. I've been pretty busy overall, so I haven't had a chance. I put out a couple videos for you guys just so you know. The first one was I published the moving average video for you guys. Let me just zoom in on this one so you guys can see what I'm talking about. There you go. I published the moving average video from the members section over to you guys. That came out. I put out a new video for the members today, which they'll have 24 hours to watch it, which is called Which Moving Average is Best? And I basically a technical breakdown from simple moving averages to exponential, double exponential, and triple exponential moving averages. That'll be coming out tomorrow for everybody else. But if you're a member and you don't want to have ads, basically ads are off for these videos. Feel free to give it a check out. Only one person's watched it so far because it just did put it out here. But if you guys want to learn more about moving averages and the type of moving averages and like if are they good for stocks versus crypto versus forex versus gold versus day trading versus 1 minute charts versus 5 minute charts versus 4 hour charts, that's going to be the video you guys want to watch. Plus there are some settings for you guys for all of these types of moving averages. I probably should have posted this one first then this one, but I was like, yeah, fine. And then I posted a video today about the war profits. The military industrial complex is thriving right now, and it could be a good long-term hold for some of you guys that have been waiting for an opportunity. If they have a nice little dip, I'll probably be adding to my positions in those if we can have a dip. The money's been flowing in from Europe and the rest of the world here. So back over here very fast. Last 24 hours. Yeah, see, there's been some movement here. ASX has been having a really crazy rally, and I'm almost wondering if altcoins are trying to make a comeback and they're just going in these waves. We used to have a crypto slate. Let me see if I can find this here. Sectors. Yeah, there we go. No, don't care about that. Why won't it let me scroll this side? There it is. Okay, so well, let's just go to AI tokens very fast. So you see my eyes. There we go. See, over the last 7 days, there really hasn't been much of a move when it comes to AI tokens. Maybe the last 30 days has been a little bit of a bounce, but not a lot. I wonder if they're going to be going by sectors here, producing, and what sectors have been moving the most over the last few days. I wonder if I need to zoom out to like 100% before this works out. No, it just really, this website sucks right now. That's an update that I don't like. put that back out here. And hey, Persian, thoughts on Palantir? Palantir has been okay. I basically sold out of a lot of it here. Why is my cap slung on? Okay. Didn't know why it made me spell out the whole thing. But yeah, I've been out of this for a while. It's been fine. It's been good overall, but you can see how the bearish momentum has been starting to lag on for a little bit too long. You're starting to see some death crosses, or an opportunity for a death cross to form. Last time it wasn't that good. I'm not going to say it's going to happen, something like that, because that was still relatively a new stock, right? But over the last few years, we've really had a good move. I don't think Fibonacci's are really going to be a big help for anything on this scale, just because we really haven't had a massive dip. It's pretty much been tearing and tearing and tearing. If you tried to, it would look something like this, and it doesn't really do much good for us overall, I would say, which is why I said probably best not to use it. But I might be waiting for something more of a pullback here if I wanted to get back in. The only reason I got out of it is I started scaling back over here in March of 2025. I had another big rally, which is great. But again, when you're starting to see the NASDAQ, the SPY, and the Dow Jones all start to give you more warning signals on some of those longer time frames, it doesn't matter specifically about this stock. It's more about, hey, the market right now is looking kind of iffy. And when I see an iffy market, I pull back a little bit more and I rely more on trading to make my income. And plus, when you sell your positions, you have more money to spend on other stuff. But you can see there's a big level of support kind of around here at $92. Basically also a level of resistance from all the way back over here in 2025. If you creep this down a little bit though, you'll see it shrinks down. We're at our first level of support already around $161. For me, if I wanted to start buying and kind of getting back into it, I probably would be around $133 to $135 and then kind of buying as it goes down. That's kind of my interpretation of what I'd be looking for right now. If you're looking for any trades and stuff though, the momentum is all against you. Bearish, 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 bearish. I'm not really optimistic about what happens with this. A lot of times when it dumps, it can rally back up fast. So I think you have opportunities to buy. It's just that this thing has been going well for so long. It doesn't really have these prolonged kind of meh moments. Makes me a little bit more concerned about how long I should be holding on to this, which is why, again, I've already started to sell out of this position. A lot of selling out of this position. I think even on the 4-hour chart, it's still, yeah, the 4-hour chart's still pretty choppy right now, but you can see, I don't know if I can stretch this out enough for you. There was a little bit of divergence right here, and you can see how it just kind of fell back down from the heavens, if you will, off of some of that divergence. So you've been seeing some warning signs for a while. It was just a matter of time for that momentum to really drag it down. It's not particularly great, but I think if you wanted to trade it, I think there's some good money there right now. There you go. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, for double clicking to zoom in a little bit. There we go. We can get rid of that line for now. It only really matters for the weekly chart, I suppose. There we go. Yeah, no worries, Persian. Happy to help you out, man. Axie Infinity is running like crazy. Yeah, it's definitely been something that's been interesting to watch. There's a lot of creators that like this one. Let me see if I can find it right here. There you go. Oh, this is the daily chart right there, and you can see how big of a move it's been. You can see it's currently hitting our first major level of resistance. You could almost imagine it being something of an order block from here to here. In reality, it's a much different order block. Really, it's like an order block from there, but we'll skip that for now. But you can see we're hitting a little bit of resistance, and we're having a little bit of an issue, but not too much at the moment, I would say. Momentum doesn't really matter with stuff like this because the market cap is still very, very tiny. You can see right now, even with the move over the last 30 days of being up over 229%, the market cap is still less than 500 million. It shows you how small the market cap was before that. But my point being right now, if you were to apply some of those smaller momentum strategies, I think you still have some opportunities to make some money. For this example here, you can see the 4-hour charts. When the crossovers have been happening, they've still been making you some money. It's high risk, but I mean, if you're trading something at this time that was probably what, 300 million market cap, you already understand it's high risk. Just have your stop losses, like crossover right there, crossover right here, cool. You buy right there, your stop losses right there, that's reasonable. First scale outs right here at resistance, that's reasonable. And then if you wanted to, you can be like, oh yeah, let me see these next Fibonacci levels. Oh yeah, go right here to here to here. Oh yeah, I can scale out some right there, I can scale out some right there, I can scale out some right here. it's like it's working, right? It's working for you guys. It's just that the risk is higher. But again, if you're gonna be trading a token that's like a few 100 million market cap, the risk is already there. But it's been great. I've only done one trade on this, and it was way back over here. I haven't had the time because when I got this signal over here, it was 8 o'clock. That's usually, no, is it 8 o'clock? I think it was 8 o'clock for me. 8 o'clock, yeah. That's usually when I'm out smoking cigars and having fun with my friends to decompress, because I'm usually inside the house all day long or watching Loki or playing outside. But I'm usually around the house, right? And this week is all about cleaning. A lot of cleaning, dishes and stuff like that. And I have a cleaning lady, and I still do my own dishes. That sucks. Or I should just holler at her to come over, but she's busy. She has a son, and I try not to be an asshole. Like, oh, you have to come here, you're fired. Yeah, that sounds like it'd just be fucked up. I'm gonna take a sip of tea here very fast. I got ginger and mint tea with some chopped up ginger in there to make it a little bit better for my throat. And a little bit of honey. Okay, but there's been some opportunities here. One of the strategies that I just gave you guys today, and I'll pull up the PowerPoint. I haven't paid for this yet, and I'm running out of credit, so I'm gonna pay for it tomorrow. The only reason I haven't paid for it, you're gonna think I'm incredibly lazy, but I swear it's just my ADHD. My wallet's upstairs, and I haven't wanted to go upstairs just for the wallet. I've gone upstairs like maybe 20, 30 times today, and I've just forgotten the wallet every single time. But if I can go to home, part of the video that I gave to you guys, the one that members have access to right now, was what moving average is best, SMA versus EMA versus DEMA versus TEMA. And the video from yesterday, the settings, I've been putting into PowerPoint form just so you guys can see it. I'm not the best at YouTube right now. My videos are maybe getting like 100 views or something like that. It's fine. It is what it is. I haven't been posting consistently, so YouTube algorithm hates me. That's my bad. But get rid of this stuff. There we go. But it's been allowing me to do some of this other stuff here. So like a whole thing about simple moving averages, best time frame, stuff like that. Exponential moving averages, what's best for that. Double exponential, why would you use it? Time frame, stuff like that. Then the triples here, all that. But then the video that's available for everybody right now, if I X out this and I go back to the main page, is this one. I believe it's this one, yeah. And these are the settings that you guys may want to use when it comes to moving averages. So simple moving average, it's basically like the numbers and why you use the numbers. 50, 100, 200, SMA 9, 21, 50, SMA 2100. Then you get to EMAs, DEMAs, TEMAs. So I think eventually YouTube will show this to people, because I think people actually have been asking like, hey, what are the right settings for TEMA? What are the right settings for this? And there's actually going to be a video there, but I don't know how long it's going to take for people to find all this stuff. So I'm just going to put it out there right now. And then by the time people are searching for it, they'll be like, oh, that's actually useful stuff here. So I think people will enjoy that quite a bit, as long as they're using it for like realistic stuff and not penny stocks. Penny stocks a little bit more difficult unless you're using like TEMAs and stuff. Okay. But yes, AXS having a monster ride. You can see the trades have been working out very well for it. You just have to find those tokens that are really moving up, like Layer Zero, Sandbox, XDC Network, Meme Core. If you, well, not, I would actually only say Sandbox, Axie Infinity, and Layer Zero. Those are the ones doing well. Those have a lot of volatility. Those have a lot of volume, and that volume can really make you some good money. The big volume being at Axie Infinity, because it's been going up for like weeks now. Year to date, it's up over 200%. I mean, what a move. Over here, yeah, it's the best performer of the top 100 year to date. What about the top 200 over here? What's been happening over there? No, nothing's come close to that. Rose is up $150 million, up 80%. Stargate Finance, our poor portfolio that I bought into a while ago, we're still down 12.5% here. The main portfolio is fine overall, but this isn't even accurate. I've already sold off a lot of these assets here because I needed to take those profits. But Altcoin, I still have this position. It's down 73%, 55% down for the high risk portfolio. The group portfolio is saving us here from having a really bad time. Oh no, it's actually down 16% now. Ouch. But overall, you get what I'm saying. And hey, Will, which two indicators would you use out of the RSI, stochastic, and MACD? It depends on how you like to trade. If you just want to trade purely off of momentum and you're looking at something more like the 4-hour chart and the daily chart, I like to go, or I would even say the weekly chart added onto that. I prefer the stochastic and the RSI. That being said, it's not the traditional stochastic. It's the stochastic with my custom settings in there. And that'd be 2155 for those, for the K and Ds. So if you were to go over here, go to auto. You'll see 21, 5, and 5 for the K length, 21, the K smoothing 5, and the D smoothing 5. And the only reason I really do that is because I feel like the MACD has a little bit too much lag for me. And it's not a bad thing. I mean, if you wait until this happens here, like, you know, you wait for the MACD to come along, you still have a good move coming out of it. But over here, you get to buy here instead of over here. I kind of like that ability. It comes with higher risk, but my old goal used to be everything has to be aligned. But as I've kind of like watched this happen a lot for the last like year, basically, I've finally made the adjustment because that's how long it takes me to make an adjustment. I don't adapt fast. I'm not good at adapting like that. But you can see crossover right here and a crossover right here. As soon as the second crossover happened, boom, you're good. By the time the MACD came over here, you know, the move had already come down quite a bit. So I like to give that first warning sign. Usually is going to be the stochastic. Usually, not always. But the warning sign comes right here. That's a sign I should just be aware of. Oh, whoa, something bad happened over here. Or that's 12 a.m. That's right here, right? I'd rather sell at the end of this candle than sell all the way down here if I bought over here or something. This crossover right here, this crossover, both happening around 8 o'clock at night. 8 o'clock at night. Not the very bottom, but still in a good spot. You can scale up partially right there. You can do your Fibonacci level like we talked about and see what the next level is. People hate Fibonacci's, but they're so useful. And you can see, okay, well, the first big level of resistance is right here. So you scale out some right here, scale out some right here, scale out some right here. And if you really want to, whoa, look at that, it worked. Now, it's not going to be exactly there every single time, but it's working pretty great right now. But that's usually my favorite thing. The lag is just too much. On the flip side, if you don't want to use the stochastic, you can just go change the numbers of the MACD, because when I add on a basic stochastic here, and let me just, the 1411s, ignore the thick line, that's there for a different reason, as you guys know from some of my strategies. You see all the noise, you can see the same general vibes happening there, the same general crossovers, but you see how there's some crossovers in here, some crossovers. I don't like having those bearish situations. Like there's a crossover that happens right here. Okay, what's that doing for me right there? Now I want to know this crossover, because to me that's the lag I'm really looking for right now. So I don't like look how many crossovers are happening during this. It's atrocious. I like mine to be a lot more smoothed out, because like, you guys know I have ADD. I will spend hours making a workflow that works with my brain. It's like to learn something new, to make it easier for me, and finding out the exact numbers that work for my brain, rather than just trying to interpret messy data all day. Just looking at that causes my head a little bit of pain, and I cannot describe why. I just tell you that it does. So what I do is I spent like a week going back and forth with ChatGPT and Claude and Jim and I, just going over numbers, sending screenshots saying, hey, is this enough? Is this enough? And I finally determined those were the numbers that looked best for me. And then I had to back test it for like a few days after that, and it worked. So personally for me, it's the personalized stochastic and then a basic default RSI. and I look for those crossovers, and I'm usually pretty happy. Then on top of that, you have that midline there that's pretty plain to see, that these white lines right here. You want to have one of these crossovers happening below their midline. Normally this would have this be a little bit thicker, but I don't know why it's not. I think I only did that for my tutorial videos for you guys. White, and then there you go. So as long as one of these crossovers is happening below one of the 50 lines, you can usually trust in that move. Now, it's not 100% accurate, right? Don't get me wrong, it's not 100% accurate, but crossover right here, 4-hour chart, pretty darn good. You can see a crossover right here, worked out pretty good. You also want to see maybe some momentum on the larger time frames, but the point being that if you see this on a 4-hour chart, like right here, 8 o'clock, okay. Then when you go on the 15-minute chart and you're looking for those small day trades and whatnot, crossovers happening right here and right here, which happened at 8:45, which was right. Oh, lucky enough, crazy enough, it was actually really close to the bottom. You can say, hey, there's a level of resistance right up here, let me sell right there. Or you can do Fibonacci levels once you've been going higher or whatever. But let's say you buy right there, you had your Fibonacci level right here. You've been waiting for a while and you just don't know exactly what to exit, where usually you know what oh, actually you have this little drop off right here. Let's just assume we did this instead, makes it easier, right? That little one level right there is a good opportunity. Up here, there was a little bit of an opportunity that also matched up with some of the resistance you were seeing over here. Up here, there wasn't really that accurate by then, and there wasn't really too much resistance. A little bit over there. Point being, every time you have a crossover below the 50 level, which doesn't happen again until over here, right? You're usually in a pretty good spot, and you can see right here, crossover at 130. One was happening below this, so 130 is right here. You buy this, you only have 15 minutes before you hit your first scale out level. Your stop loss is right here, and then if you sell up here towards the spike, for whatever reason you'd have it, maybe you look at it and you're like, okay, I'm looking for a place to sell, you know, the one level is right there, oh, it hit that one right there, whatever it may be. If whatever you don't sell at this next one, you see eventually hits your stop loss, which would have been right around here, or if you saw it going higher and you move your stop loss up to here or here, whatever, it would have hit that stop loss, so you would have out, but you would have still made some money. So that's the kind of trick of it right now. One of the things I'm working on right now, and I'm trying to figure out how to do it properly with the timing, because I think I would have to stream earlier in the day. So instead of streaming from 5 to 6, it'd be 4 to 6, I believe. What I want to do, which is still harder because you saw this, there's a 4-hour chart. You have to have the 4-hour chart aligned and the 15-minute charts aligned. It takes hours to just wait, which is why I'm sitting down at my computer for a while, or at least aware of what's happening in the markets. Hello. You want to say hi? Yeah, shoot your gun, boy. Oh, you can kind of see him. He's sneaking around today. Yeah. He's been very playful the last few days. We've been going out to the beach to walk and the waterfront to walk. So I get a little bit of fresh air. He gets a little bit of fresh air. And he's been enjoying it, except for he's been yelping a lot there because he's so excited to get off the leash. And he's like, you can't get off the leash, man. Yeah, that's kind of the point I was trying to make there. So the default isn't good for stochastic RSI, and RSI aren't good for swing trading. No, it just depends on how you want to use it. That's why I framed it as if you want to do momentum trading. I am a momentum trader at heart. I like looking at the oscillators to kind of help me figure out excuse me, so sick, how things are going to be going. Let me pour some more tea. Sorry about that. Oh, I don't know when this cough is going away, but I hope it goes away fast. Woo. All right. Ooh, it smells like some honey. That's what I like to see. Oh, that thermos is definitely keeping it hot. Okay. So, yeah. So, when it comes to the MACD, you know, let me do this. Let me do this, actually. God damn, why does it keep doing that? All right, hold on a second. I'm going to go to ChatGPT. Since I'm just going to type in this. Talking fast, and I'm sorry about that. Can you explain what the MACD indicator is and how to use it like a pro? So before it even does this little thing, I like using the MACD especially for divergences and for the crossovers themselves. If you like to use them on weekly charts, you will have a more confident trend. So when I see the MACD flip right here being green, that to me is a more powerful signal than just the RSI or the stochastic. But when everything else is aligned together, it itself becomes even a more important indicator in my mind, like a singular indicator than what we're looking at here. A lot of times, like you guys know, I've worked and I've promoted a bunch of the different tools out there. This can be the Lux Algo free tools. CryptoFace has a tool. Market Cipher. Invite only. Flux charts, right? A lot of them will make their own oscillators, and it's basically just melding in a lot of stuff. But like Market Cipher, for example, ooh, this tea is hot. So Market Cipher, for example, I know the price has gone down because the market's kind of iffy right now, but Market Cipher is still $600 for a year, and you can only buy it for a year, I guess, or $1,500 for the lifetime, right? So let's say at the minimum $600 a year. Whereas if you get TradingView on Black Friday, like I always recommend, you're buying a 13 months for like $200 something, right? And then you can just put on these three. That's the premium one, of course. Then you can put on those three indicators right there, and I myself, my brain finds it easier to read three indicators like this, or just the two, the RSI, the stochastic, over using something like a Market Cipher. Because if you shrink this down a little bit, right, you'll still see that wave on the 4-hour chart. You see the crossover happening, right? Crossover happening right around here, came down. The difference is with that stochastic, right? See how there's a little crossover right there? You have a little red dot, a little bit of a crossover right here close to where these dots are. And excuse me. I prefer looking at it like this, you know? And of course, if you add on the stochastic and whatnot, they're pretty aligned, but not always. For me though, I don't know if it's just because of the 50 line and kind of it, getting rid of some of the false positive signals. I like being able to see that 50 line and saying, oh yeah, one of these is crossed below the 50 line, therefore it's more important in my eyes. But there's also more stuff being used in the Market Cipher tool itself, right? So if I were to go over here to, I guess I probably have to do it. It's not the same as Lux Algo. Hold on. And I'll get back over to the MACD thing here in a second. Really? Wonder if it's behind a thing. Market Cipher B. There we go. Right, buy, sell, and warnings indicator, momentum trading, right? Green dots, blue waves, kind of teaches you what everything is. Yellow VWAP, blue waves. You're looking at overbought and oversold readings for the most part here, but get to most of these waves. Don't have spot divergent price action. That's where the MACD comes involved, the divergence. But yeah, so it's just a little bit different. I know there's better tutorials on here, but he has a bunch of different stuff in here. For me, this is too complicated. I'm a very simple person. Like, I'm just a simple person. Like, there are people that want to look at that type of stuff, and I get it. I get it. I'd rather just say, oh yeah, this line cross over here with this line crossing over here, or this line crossing over here plus this line crossing over here. Let me buy right here, have a stop loss there, and see where it goes. It usually works. It works enough for me to live off of it, right? And one of the reasons I started this channel back in the first place was people were looking for simple patterns in order to make money in the market. The bad thing about this is, again, You see Bitcoin over here, right? This happened at 8 o'clock at night. Maybe people were just not at their computer. They were out having fun in the town. That was a Friday night at 8 o'clock, you know? But the next signal that came before that was 8 a.m. on Thursday. Maybe you're already at work that time, right? And you can see, again, Thursday, that's a whole week before the signals on the 4-hour chart. That's a whole week, right? So during those few days where everything is bullish and everything's going higher, and before you hit that level of resistance, you don't know how long it's going to take to get up towards that level of resistance, or if it's just going to go up to this level of resistance or something like that. But you know, with that crossover right here, you can be buying here and selling here, but also on the 15-minute charts doing a lot of day trades. But that also means you have to be available all midday on Thursday and all midday on all morning Friday, right? That's the issue with mine, but I still think it's better than a lot of other people will give you out there, right? I think that's the key there. You know, I don't say I specialize in scalping or things like that, but I have opportunities, right? I mean, I do it every now and again, like and hey, Fitz, appreciate it for becoming an early adopter, man. I know you've been here for a minute, but I appreciate it a lot, my man. If you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. And before I go back to this, let me just explain what the MACD is very fast. AI explains it much better than I can because of my tangents, my ability to go off on tangents. Okay. So the MACD stands for Moving Average Convergence Divergence. It measures momentum and trend strength by comparing two exponential moving averages. MACD is not a buy and sell indicator by itself. It is a momentum confirmation tool that helps you understand when a trend is gaining or losing strength. So the MACD line, the difference between the 12 EMA and the 26 EMA, this line reacts fastest to price changes. Signal line and 9 EMA of the MACD line, used to smooth momentum and confirm shifts. The histogram, I don't use histograms, but they will have them on there. The difference between the MACD line and the signal line shows momentum acceleration and decelerating. I can see it from the lines, but if you want it on there, of course you can add it on there. Price moves first, momentum shifts second. MACD visualizes that shift. Right? Default settings, the ones we talked about there. These settings work because institutions still watch them. Changing them aggressively usually adds noise, not edge. And again, if you want to follow the institutions, that's a good way to go, especially if you're looking at longer term 4-hour, daily, weekly charts. Okay. MACD line versus signal line crosses. What beginners do: buy every bullish signal, sell every bearish cross. What pros do: only take crosses in the direction of the higher time frame trend. Bullish crossover above the zero and uptrend equals continuation. Bearish crossover trend in the zero is a downtrend continuation. So what this means here is it's a stock that would work on probably Google right now is what I've been trading. Is it forcing me to type in uppercase? Okay. Okay, fine. Okay. So the weekly chart's already been bullish on this for a long ass time. It's been very, very good. But let's just go back to where we had that crossover over here below the 50 line. Okay. So there was a fat buy signal right here on the 12th of May. Okay. Let's go over to the daily chart now. We already know we're in a bullish established trend. So because of that, in this circumstance, even though both of these crossovers are happening above the 50, because we're already in an established trend, right, above the zero line, which in this case is this one right here, it's more powerful. You know, here you go, right here. Now, and actually that's not even above the zero line. We have to go back above here, right? The reason I don't use this primarily is because a lot of times by the time this thing is happening, we're already kind of close to a larger level of resistance. Maybe because the market's been so kind of crazy over the past few years, it's just been a little bit different. But if the crossovers happen, like, again, the zero line for this one is right here. It's a little bit different for the RSI and the MACD. But you can see the lines are above the 50 right here. The crossover right there, it still worked. There's a crossover right here. Technically, if you held, it was at a big level of resistance. You don't typically buy at those, but put it aside for now. Your stop loss is here. You bought right here. You had some type of Fibonacci level, whatever. what did I say right here? Cross right here. Yeah, you have your level of resistance that comes along right here, and boom, you can sell for a profit. All right. Another crossover happened right here. That worked out. Another crossover happened right here. Technically, that worked out with some good earnings. No crossover right there. You can see how crazy this has been, but still above the zero line, still have a strong trend. The weekly chart's probably still bullish at this point. Right here, good little crossover. Like, it has its uses. It has its uses for sure. My thing is, I'm doing something completely different than this type of trade. And the reason I'm doing something different is because I already see it's a bullish trade over here, right, from the weekly perspective. So what I'm doing is I'm actually just looking for these crossovers that are happening. So for example here, crossover, awesome. What's happening below 50? Same thing, resistance level, buy your own peril. You can have a stop loss there, ride the wave to the next level of resistance, which is probably around, what, like here, something like that. Or I could use Fibonacci levels. I'm speeding through this, so bear with me. And I'm just using a different type of tool, right? Crossover here. That's usually not enough money for me because I'm already doing a longer term weekly trade because I saw this on the weekly chart ahead of time. So I already have one trade that's just going for months. You see how this trade right here worked out, but this one over here, above the 50, you can see how there was a crossover right here that happened during that time on the Friday. Okay. You can see how there was a crossover that happened right here and right here. To me, I see that move right there. If I'm looking at something shorter term, it's usually not something I really like to trade all too much. You can see it did relate into a larger move right there. But for me, I already got that covered. What I'm looking for is saying, hey, and you see how this is just a little bit before this. I mean, just a couple days. I swear, just a couple days. But during that time, I can go over here and say, okay, we have the crossover on here on Wednesday. So when I go over here to the 15-minute chart and I squeeze this out and I try to figure out where the heck this was at on the chart. There we go. And I get out of the MACD just for a second. The crossover that happens right after that, crossover below the 50 crossover, right here, 745. No, it's 730 to 745. Crossover right here. Again, you can see there's some levels of resistance, so you got to be kind of careful of that. But if you did want to buy over here at 745, boom, there's a big level of resistance. You can buy there. That's your day trade for the day. If you're doing options, you can make a lot of money doing that. High risk, high reward. Be very careful of options. But, and then again, the next move, this is happening after hours, so maybe you trade it, maybe you don't. Let's assume you not. You got a crossover right here, but no crossover right here. Crossover right here, but no crossover right there. Crossover right here and here. And you can see, again, we're still on that bullish momentum. You can kind of ride that wave. Now, am I holding this throughout the night and going through all that big move the next day? Maybe, but you're probably going to have a scale out level somewhere right before close unless you really are a fan of holding overnight for certain types of day trades. Some people have the rules, some people don't. It is what it is. If anything, you're not holding it over the weekend because it's a Friday. Then, of course, you can see not taking this trade because, again, the crossovers aren't happening below, right? The crossovers aren't happening below. So you might miss on this trade. But again, if you already saw that daily chart or that weekly chart being bullish right here on this other one, maybe the MACD crossover or something, you can hold through that. You can hold through that definitely. Yeah, maybe you want to hold through that. It just depends on your trading style. I'm not trying to grab every trade out there, but like there's a system I have and I like that system a lot. I mean, I like my system a lot. It's very simple. I feel like it's just, how do I describe it? I don't have a PhD from Harvard on trading. I have the Dummy's Guide to Day Trading in my system, right? Plus a bunch of other books that were written by smart people, whatever. But like, that's how I was self-taught. I'm not like I'm wearing Eddie Barrow right now. Rarely do you guys see me put on my button-up shirt and my Tommy Bahama vest. I'm usually gonna go chill outside or do something cool after that or something with my Versace sunglasses and whatnot, which I have. But like, do I really wear them that much? No, I really don't. Right? Really don't. Yeah. And thanks, Fitz. Yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. I always like talking with you guys about this type of stuff because I could talk hours about technical analysis and guides and stuff like that. Especially because I have so many tutorials on the channel, but I haven't packaged them properly. I've been trying to work with an editor to make quick little intros and stuff, but I haven't found the reason to do it yet. I might just have to test it out and see how it is. But, let me go over here to content type videos, right? Most people watch my smart money videos, Ganbox, Luxalgo, Super Trend. The Super Trend video is doing better than I thought. This is a nice little simple one here. There we go. Has around 5,000 views, right? And it's growing, right? So I get a little bit there, but it's not necessarily a lot. $300 for the last 28 days. Now I wonder if I just don't have to drive to do YouTube as much as other people because I don't rely on this money to like live necessarily. But I want my channel to do well. But I made a video today about war profits exploding and how nobody's really paying attention to the military industrial complex. Europe is funneling so much money there. It's crazy. Those stocks have been going up like crazy since last April when Trump did the Liberation Day, kind of like bazooka on the world. But yeah, so I'm going to keep on making these more boring tutorials. I think I find more passion in them and my brain is able to really understand what's happening a little bit easier. And I feel like it's better for you guys. Like I said, I go over here, I have these types of things where, oh, that's not the right one. There you go. The structure of simple moving averages, how they work. Or I can go over here, the strategies for moving averages, right? Or I can go over here and do, smart money concepts. This is 10 slides. How to trade with the banks and not against them. Retail logic versus institutional logic. Change of character, but the break of structure. Change of character again. How to identify order blocks. Fair value gaps. What exactly are there? Where's liquidity? When should you buy, sell? High probability entry checklist to make sure you go step by step. Wait for all this stuff to happen before you open a trade. If all four conditions are not met, there is no trade. This is if you guys want to trade just using change of characters and market structure. But basically off of this, if you guys like the Luxalgo stuff, start on the higher time frame, daily or 4 hour. Determine if the institutions are bullish or bearish. Is the weekly chart bullish or bearish? I do it in a different way. See, I've adapted it for me. But your bias must align with the dominant trend. So if everything's bullish on the weekly chart, I'm only going to be going long on the smaller time frame trades. Wait for liquidity sweep. Patience. Let's price sweep external liquidity, buy to liquidity or sell liquidity. Watch for the fake out above a high or a new low, below low. So this is institutions collecting stocks before the real move. That happens before the crossovers with the stochastic and the RSI. All right. So that's usually my confirmation for that. It's a little bit of a lag, but the confidence I get from just waiting for that little bit extra time, it works for me. Confirm market structure shift or change of character. This is something you can do, but most tools like Luxalgos or Flux charts or wherever, they're going to be looking at different change of characters than I am, a little bit different. And you could enter an order block or a fair value gap. So this will have a larger move. It'll kind of have a pullback moment. And on that pullback moment, you can have an opportunity to buy or fair value gap. But fair value gaps are like literally everywhere. So for example here, 4 hour chart on Bitcoin. We already had a bullish change of character way back over here. Both, what's the term that they use here? They use different terms than I use. Internal and swing. Swing and then an internal one. All right. But you have that crossover that happens right here. You can see there was a little bit of a liquidity scoop that happened right here. Came back down, got bought back up. You can see it happen a couple times. All right. And then you can see, depending on how you want to play this, go to the body of the candle. All right. You have like an order block right there. I guess it technically came back down here. So you're buying at the order block and you're kind of saying, okay, good. And you ride the wave. So instead of maybe buying over here and holding for too long, you know, you buy right there and you kind of ride the wave up. A little bit of a different way of going about it. I'd rather just hold to be a part of it because sometimes, especially with cryptocurrency, it moves so fast that it doesn't always come back down to the order block, if you will. But again, this is just a 4-hour chart, you know, and you can see how it kind of rears up a little bit. Another example right here, crossover happened right there. It wasn't a bullish change of character yet. Let's see. And so you miss out on this opportunity because you're waiting for the change of character. Technically, with that move, there was a change of character that happened right there. You can see it. You still have the ability to trade it. But in my mind, now you're looking at that big level of resistance. And I'm like, am I going to really just buy right here to sell like right there? It only took a couple days. But if you have a stop loss anywhere over here, you see the volatility kicked your butt down. It's just a little iffy. Plus, you're technically buying right after a level of resistance right here, which is a little bit more tenuous. But again, I hope that explains like some of the thought process that goes in there and how maybe I give you guys this stuff, but even I'm adapting it slightly different. Well, that was the last one. But yeah, so I'm going to keep on making these for you guys, which is why I got to pay for this stuff because I've been using it for free for a while. It's only like $25 or something like that a month, so it's not like it's gonna kill me. And I got $300 to pay for that stuff. But yeah, so just so you guys know, I think that's probably the best way for me to teach you guys. I think it works out pretty darn well. Gold almost 5,000 and silver almost $100. Yeah, I got a bunch of silver and a little bit of gold, and it's been working out. Let's see right here. Yeah, it is what it is. It's gonna be a while for YouTube to put me back in its good graces. I haven't been streaming as much and stuff too, but yeah, it is what it is. But anyway, guys, I'm gonna end the stream right now. Thank you, Fitz, for joining in and becoming a member. Will, Persian, Samurai, happy to see my man, and Lisa, happy to see all of you guys in here today. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 5 o'clock. I believe I'm gonna try to stream Saturday as well. I will not be streaming Sunday only for the pure fact that football is going to be happening and the Seahawks are playing, and I'm going to be traumatized either way because it's going to be another close game, which is going to be absolutely terrifying. So see you guys a little bit later. I'll try to work on the views and stuff like that. I can't publish so many videos and then do a stream because it won't notify people I'm streaming, which is kind of a bad thing. But I hope if I'm always live at 5 o'clock, which I'm going to try to do here pretty soon, people will just automatically, oh, it's 5 o'clock, Michael must be live or something like that, right? So hope you guys enjoy. If you guys ever have questions about this type of stuff, this is where I thrive at. I don't thrive on the news side of things, as you guys might imagine, but this is the stuff I know.